Okay, so we have our foundry. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so we have our foundry, and I say foundry, sorry. We have fundme.so. Okay, so this is what we've done so far. So in our last class, what we did was that we created a withdraw function for it so that we can remove the money that has been funded into this contract. Okay, so we created a function for withdrawal, and then we use we we what we did was that we created owner so that the person creating this contract should be the one to withdraw the money in the contract that has been funded into the contract. All right, and then we wrote a for loop to loop through the arrays of funders, the array we created here. Okay, address of funders, and then we created a map to actually link us to the amount that has been funded. I remember when we said the reason why we could use these UINs to get the amount is because um we created something which is this, the library, and then we imported our library here. Okay, so and then we said that this library is, so whenever there's 256 is getting the price of, so every 256 in this contract is getting the price of ETH. Okay, according to our interface. And then we linked the address to the uint. Okay, so that we can use this uint now to fetch the amount that has been um funded into our contract. Okay, so now we wrote a loop to get us, sorry, should be in the withdraw function. So we wrote a loop to loop through that array, okay, and get us the index of the funder. So when we put in the index, it gives us the funder's address. That's what this loop does, okay. And then after we've withdrawn, we set the array of funders to 0, okay. We set the array of funders to 0, okay, so that once we deploy, another person deploy this contract and start afresh, the array start afresh again. Or when after withdrawing, somebody still decide to fund the contract, it starts afresh again. All right, and then we talked about the transfer, the send, and the call method of withdrawal, and then we said that the most recommended is the call function, the call method of withdrawal. We said that the transfer method of withdrawal returns error when if it's not successful and uses 2,300 gas, while the send method returns bool as error when it fails and then uses 2,300 gas as well, gas limit. And then the call returns bool, but it doesn't use 2,300 gas limit. It's dynamic. Okay, it's dynamic. All right, so and we said that the call method is more prone to reentrancy attack because of this gas limit it doesn't have. But we can also always check, write a good call and save withdraw using the withdraw method, withdraw function using the call if we write it very well and put in our requirements as well. Okay, so as we go on this our journey, we'll get to understand this better. All right, so if we deploy this guy, if we deploy this guy, I want to show us something. All right, so um let's just deploy this guy in our normal Remis VM. All right, so oh, okay, so let us deploy. All right, so now we cannot we cannot how will I put it? We cannot send or withdraw funds because it's not connected to the protocol aggregator. Okay, so we can't do that. But I want to show you something. Now, if you look at this transaction, you look at the cost of running this guy. Now you see that pay attention to, I don't know if you can see this guy, but you see execution transaction cost and execution. Let's use this transaction cost. So this transaction cost and the gas is 64. Okay, no, not 64. This is 642,000 gas. All right. So let me copy this guy and let me paste it here. Let me okay, let me paste it here so that's yes, pasting everything. All right, so this is the gas we've spent in deploying these contracts. All right, so if we can actually reduce the gas cost for this transaction by just doing one or two things. All right, but it's not necessary if you for you to as a beginner you should not be focusing on gas optimization, but you should focus on writing good codes first. When you are done writing good code, you can now start learning um, gas optimization. But for the sake of this class, so let me just show you how it works. Okay, so now you see that we have every line of code, every line of code is being executed. And let me show you something. Oh, it's not showing. But every line of this code is being executed. So when you execute, when the code executes this guy, it costs gas. When it executes this guy, when it executes a state variable, there's gas. When it executes a function, like the constructor is a function as well. It's a type of function. When it executes a function, it costs gas. Okay. So let's see, since we will not be changing this guy, okay, so we can introduce a keyword. We call it constant. All right, to introduce the keyword, we call it constant, the constant keyword. Now what the constant keyword does is that it initialize this variable so that it's it becomes gas efficient. It reduces the gas cost for executing this line of code, this state variable. Okay, so if if I and there is a naming convention for constants. All right, so we'll change this guy to this is how you name your constant. This minimum USD. All right, so we're going to change every of our anywhere we see our minimum USD to. So I'm going to put mini no. All right, so we have one minimum USD here. So come and change this guy to minimum USD. All right, so let us let's compare and then let's deploy. Okay, let me ensure that I've compiled. Okay, let me deploy. All right, so we've deployed and we see our gas. Let me copy this one and compare it with what we have before. Okay, now this is our gas. This is our present gas. Just by adding constants to our code, we see that we have reduced our gas by almost 20 something thousand, maybe 30,000 of gas has been saved. Okay, 20 something to 30,000 of gas have been saved by just adding gas um constants to it. Okay, so that's how you can save gas. Another thing we can actually add to our code. I think I'll create a separate class for it, and that's modifiers. So what are modifiers? Modifiers are is a type of function that help us to write reusable errors. Okay, it's a type of error management help us to write reusable errors. Okay, so modifiers are written in this way. So I want us to remodify our error in our withdrawal. Okay, I want us to modify our error in our withdrawal. This guy here. Here is it. This guy here. So that whenever we want to write an error, let's say for example want to reuse this particular line of code, like this particular requirement, without have to rewrite it again. Okay, without have to write it again. Let's say we want to write, we have another function, we'll now copy this guy and just put it there and copy it and put it there. We'd have to do that. So all I have to do is just to write a modifier. So modifiers are written like this. So now we we are checking for owners here. In this withdrawal, we are checking for owner. You understand? If the owners, only the owner can withdraw. All right, we created owner here. Yeah, is it? All right, we created owner. You understand? Write the constructor to initialize owner. We write this owner here. Okay, we created a function to initialize this owner, and then we come here and then say that owner must be message or sender. And we explained in our previous class that message or sender is message or sender is the address that executes the contract. Okay. We said that message or sender is the address that executes the contract, the owner of the contract. Okay, so we are not saying that no other person can withdraw from the funds here except this message or sender. But we want it in a way that we don't want this message or sender to be here. We want to be reusable. Okay, so we can create a, let me call this guy only owner. All right, so we can create a modifier, and then I can come and copy this error message here. Copy. So I can, I have to come and put it here. Okay, and then okay. Now I've written my requirement in this modifier, and then this underscore comma. So what does this line of code mean? So what does this line of code mean? I know you understand what this one means. So what does this line of code mean? It means that you you check for this first before you execute the function that is calling this modifier. All right. So if I call this modifier and this withdraw, that means it's going to check this requirement first before executing the function. All right. So if I put this guy here, if I put it here, that means it's going to run the function first before checking for the error. Okay, I said that if it's below, it's going to check the error first before running the function. If it's above, it's going to run the function first before checking the error. All right, so now how do we call it in uh withdraw function? Because that's what we're going to be using it. That's where we're going to be using it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use this name, the name of the modifier, add it to our withdraw function here. So just say only owner, and we are good to go. So now by adding this only owner to this function is actually going to be calling this guy, this requirement. Understand? So instead of us to write, for let's say for example, we want that error to be checked in font, this font function is just to add only owner to this font function, like putting it here only owner, and that means that before this function is going to run, it's going to check that particular requirement, that modifier. Okay, so that's it. So let's check uh our code again and see if any of these particular thing we just done has reduced our gas again. All right, so All right, so it didn't cause any significant change. All right, but you see what that constant did? That constant actually significantly changed, reduced our gas costs. All right, so the modifier is for reusable errors. Understand? I told us that modifier is for reusable errors. It helps us to reuse our errors and modifies a particular function. Okay, it's a function that modifies other function. All right, so when you put in a particular, let's say you create a revert here, even a requirement or a revert, and then you call it in a function, in a set function, it's going to check, run that modifier first, that block of code in your modifier first before running the function. All right, so in the course of uh our journey, we are going to be making use of this modifier and see how it works. Perhaps time, I'm going to give us more examples of modifiers and how it works and how we can manipulate it through our contracts. All right, so we have been doing our testing of chain. Okay, so let's see how this thing works with our um with our MetaMask. So we're going to be testing it on MetaMask. How many of us actually tested this guy with our MetaMask? Oh, nobody did. Everybody was relaxed. All right, so we are going to be deploying. All right, I'm saying so our contract is pending. I have to change my distance so that you can see how I am signing my contracts. Okay, so let me change this guy to okay. So let me go back and all right. So I'm just going to confirm. And let's wait a little bit so we can. All right. So my contract has been deployed successfully. We have a green checker. So let us fund our contract. Okay. So there's a little change here. Now, if you see these minimum deposits, you see that it's 5 raised to power of 5 times 10 raised to power 14. All right. But what was in our code was 5 times 10 raised to power 18. Now, if you come to your 8 converter, okay, if you put 5 times 5 times 10 raised to power 18, that is 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now it's it's 5 ether. That means you are saying that the minimum um transaction we should have here is 5 ether, which is very, very big. Understand? So we have to change it to, this is 18, 17, 16. All right, so I made it like this. Okay, so I made it like this so that the minimum we can have is $12. The minimum you can have, you can send, to this contract is 12.5, $12.38. Okay, if you want to make it $5, you can come and AI can help you with the conversion, but let's just, all right, we can say this is 0.5.
Sorry, sir. Did you design this yourself or like the dashboard? Sorry, I said the dashboard, the UI or
No, 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 no. This site is already there already. This site is already here. You go to itconverter.com and you get it yourself. You get it. We are just looking at the conversion rate. This is way, this is GUI, and this is ether. You understand? Now in our code, we are using way. Okay, we are using way, and then for us to get $5, 0.05, no, 0.04, sorry, 0.04. All right, so what I'm doing is that I'm getting an accurate conversion rate. You understand? What in our contract is $12. What was in our contract initially when we are actually having our class was um $12. All right, so I'm telling you how you can actually reduce it. So using the Earth conversion, sorry, I popped my pad. So yeah, I can reduce this guy to 0.004. This $10. 0.002. Sorry, 0.002. So this is $5. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so we can make this guy 16, 16 way. So if this is, sorry, 2 raised to power 16 is $5. All right. So if we want to make our minimum deposit in our contract $5, we'll make this guy to a 16. So that's what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. Okay, 15. All right. So make this guy 15. All right. So this will give us a minimum of $5 transaction. But for the sake of deploying these contracts, all right, so let's just run through our tests. Okay, we said that this is the minimum is 5 raised to power 14. So we can come here and put 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, and then come and fund our contracts. So it's going to open our MetaMask. We want to fund our contracts. So we can all right, so our transaction is pending. Okay. All right, so we just funded our wallet. So we can see here that is 0.0005 ETH. I don't know if you can see it. You can see 0.005 ETH. All right, so let us fund it with another wallet. Let's fund it with another account. All right, let's just change this guy to account 2. I think we have some Sepolia in account 2 here to do. And then come to this guy and let's fund again. Don't worry. Oh, sorry. We didn't put how much we're sending. So we are sending 6 this time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, and then come and fund. Okay, so transaction pending. So we are waiting for the transaction to complete, and boom, that's completed. All right, so we'll see that two contracts, two people are funded our contracts. You understand? They are funded us to now have 0.0001 ETH. Let's send how many Sepolia do we have here? We have 0.04 Sepolia. Let's send 0.01 Sepolia to that FundMe. 0.01 Sepolia should be 0.01 should be this. Okay, so let me copy. All right, just want to show something. Okay, so let me fund. So I'm sending 0.01 Sepolia to our contract. I'm funding this contract with 0.01 Sepolia. Okay. All right, so you see our balance has increased to 0.0111. All right, now if I come here and put, see, look at our minimum transaction is 0.05. These are minimum transaction. All right. So if I come and put 0, you see our address. You understand? This address funded our contracts. So this address is this guy. Now you see that is this end with 42DD0. That's the one in this here, 42DD0. Okay. Now if I put 1, so we are going to have the second address that funded us. Who is supposed to be this guy. Okay. Now let's withdraw let's withdraw from our contract. Now you see that we deployed this contract with our account one. Okay, we withdrew this contract with our account one. Let us try and withdraw our money using our account two. Okay, and then I click on withdraw. It's going to take me to our MetaMask. All right, and then now there is an error. Now, if you look at the error, it's telling me that this is the correct account. It's different from the correctly selected account in your wallet. Now let me ignore and then confirm. I believe we are seeing my screen. Okay. Now I try to deploy. I try to withdraw to my account two, but ended up withdrawing to my account one. Now the reason why it entered my account one was because it was deployed by my account one. Okay, so I deployed the contract to my account one and I received the token in my account one. Okay, so funded complete, withdrawal. All right, so is in this account I withdrew my Sepolia 2, not account 2. So if it was account 2, I would have had 0.05 here. Altogether, okay, so that's how the contract works. Now we've successfully tested our contract, okay, and we'll see that it's working very fine. All right, we can fund our contracts and we can withdraw from our contracts. All right, so any question? Any questions so far? So I will admonish you to go and run this contract and deploy it and then test it. I believe we all have Sepolia is in our um MetaMask testnet account. I believe we have Sepolia is. If you don't have Sepolia is, I think I sent it to the group how to add Sepolia is to your MetaMask. Okay, so do well to check it out and you're good. Okay, do well to check it out and then you're good. All together.
Yes, sir.
All right. So up next is Foundry. How many of us? Okay, I've answered that before. We all installed our MetaMask. And sorry, I say a MetaMask, a VS Code. So up next is Foundry. So we're going to be testing our codes in Foundry. Let me go to the Foundry website. So just to okay. Now this is what we are going to be working with Foundry. Now Foundry is a framework like Truffle and Hard Hat. All right. So the reason why I prefer Foundry, okay, over Hard Hat and Truffle, although I just had the basics of Hard Hat. Okay, I don't know anything about Truffle, but I just have the basics of Hard Hat. Okay, but I prefer Foundry. Excuse me. I prefer Foundry because Foundry is fast. Foundry is fast when it comes to executing and testing codes. All right. So Foundry is very fast when it comes to executing and testing codes. That's one. Then secondly, although Foundry is built using Rust, that means when you are installing your Foundry, you should also install Rust package in your system. Okay. And unlike Hard Hat and Truffle, unlike Hard Hat, let me be specific with Hard Hat. Unlike Hard Hat, in Hard Hat, when you want to test your code, when you want to use Hard Hat, you have to write um, JavaScript. You have to have a, at least the basic knowledge of JavaScript for you to run Hard Hat. You understand? You run JavaScript scripting to test your code. Understand? But when it comes to Foundry, you don't have to do that. You use Solidity scripts rather than another language to test your your code. All right, so that's it. Foundry is very fast and Foundry is very efficient when it comes to security testing. If you want to go into smart contract security, Foundry is for you. If you want to go into um, solidity security, blockchain development and security, Foundry is for you because it helps to test. It has a lot of add-ons for security testing and as well, and it's very very fast. Okay, so we are going to be going into Foundry. In your own spare time, you can go and check the similarities and the differences between Foundry and all that stuff and for you to learn more. Okay, so you have to install Foundry in your if you are using MacBook. How many of us are using MacBook here? If you are using MacBook, you have to install it using PowerShell and why are you laughing? Can't someone use if you are using MacBook, you can use PowerShell and your VS Code Studio terminal to install your Foundry on your system. Okay, so for the sake of this class, we'll not go through the installation because it takes a lot of time, but I'll give you a hack on how to do it and how to do it very well. Okay, so that you can go through it all together. You might have some challenges, like some little challenges. There is no one way of doing it, okay? But it's easy, it's simple. It's a little bit tricky, but it's simple. So let me tell you how to do it. Now you are going to be installing three things. Sorry, four things when you are installing your Foundry. You're going to be installing Forge, you're going to be installing Cast, you're going to be installing Anvil, and then Chisel. Okay. Now, this is how to install your Foundry. All right. So come to, let me duplicate this guy so that I don't have to go to another listing. Come to your Chat GPT. All right. So let's use our Chat GPT. So if you have an account with ChatGPT, I believe everybody does. You can use your email and then can just log in and does it. Okay, so what you can do is that this is the documentation for installing Foundry on your system. So what you can do is just copy this guy. Okay, see what I'm doing. All right, copy. Should I skip this guy? Agree. People will not see my birth months now. Hey, don't worry. No fear, don't worry.
Just put it. Sorry.
Don't worry, don't worry. I got you. I got you. I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Hmm? Oh, I got you. I got you. Though you will see it now. Hmm? Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you sure you guys are not seeing it? Are you sure you guys are seeing my screen? Okay, so we are in. So what you're gonna
So
do is that what?
we don't know how you got here.
Oh, sorry. I just put my name and my date. I thought you were seeing my screen. I just put my name and my date of birth. It's ChatGPT now. You can no, but everybody knows how to open ChatGPT. All right, copy it here and say let me sorry let me write the prompt. say I want to install Foundry on my Windows. For those of us using Windows, okay, help me with it. This is the installation documentation. All right, and then you put in this, you paste to tell um ChatGPT that that's documentation. All right, and so it's going to give you a guideline on how to install it. Okay. Um, you can copy this guy and then paste it here and all that. Now, prerequisites. Okay, prerequisites for you to actually run this, you have to run it in a Git bash. All right, let me search. All right, so this your Git bash. Okay. Now, how do you get this Git bash? All right, they've already told us here to download your Git bash. All right, download your Git bash and install it. Okay, so if I try to install, it's going to take me to the Git bash website. All right, so it's going to take me here where I can install my stuff. Okay, so I don't want to insult your your mental strength. I believe you can download and install this yourself. Okay, so I haven't downloaded this guy. Okay, you can now haven't downloaded it and installed it. You can now follow the rest of the instructions here. Now, if you run into an error, you can always copy the error and then paste it. If the error is too big, let's say you're having an installation error, you can always copy it and paste it in ChatGPT and said, "This is the challenge I'm having. I want you to help me with it." If you try to access a site and is let's say you try to access this particular website, probably you ran this guy in your bash and it's flagged error. Okay, you tell them that they are having error. It will always give you find another way for you to do it. Understand? But always give the ChatGPT a feedback on what you are doing, and then it always find a way to route you for you to install your Foundry. Okay, so when you
So
successfully,
this command they say we should-
I didn't get you.
I I said this command that I'm seeing here, is it on command prompt?
That's it. You are going to be running it in your um you're going to run it your Git in your Git bash. Let me show you what the Git bash looks like. Okay, so am I typing anything at all? Everything you're going to be running, you're going to be running to a Git bash. That's why you have to do this installation first before you proceed with anything you're going to be doing. So these are Git bash. Let me just run it. So see. So let's just give it a little while so that it opens. And all right, so I'm actually showing us how to use your AI for the installation so that you don't have to run etaskater trying to, hey, we have opened some patches of Git bash. Let me just be cleansing them one after the other. All right, so this is your Git bash, your Git bash. All right, so we are going to run this code. All right, so we are going to run this code. So I can copy this code and just paste it here. Now in Git bash, you don't press your control V. Control V doesn't work in Git bash. You use your shift plus insert, you understand, to copy this guy. All right, they're not going to be, this is, oh, this, I've copied the wrong guy. We're not installing this guy, installing this guy. All right, so we insert it and you enter to actually start downloading. So I want to show us something. Now, peradventure, you did what they say you should do. Run this particular follow-up, Foundry up, install, and then follow the screen, blah, 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 blah. Then install this, and then install this, and all that, and all that, and all that. Now, your first step is that you've copied this guy, and then you've put it here. Remember, this is where you are running it in Git bash. Okay, so now there is a failure. All right, there's a failure. So what I want to, this is what I was saying. You can copy it like this. Okay, copy it, Control C. Yeah, Control C is to copy, and then come back to charts and then paste it here. All right, so this line here tell ChatGPT that, okay, this is what you've run, this is the line of, this is the prompt you did, and this is the outcome. All right, so you can just click enter and see how to fix it. Said, okay, it looked like the connection was reset due to this connection, connect, check in possible problem, and then it's going to find a solution. All right, use VPN, or do this or do this, or manually do this or do this or do that. Okay. Now they'll tell you, okay, go and download the script in this particular website. Okay, you can actually go to the website and it's not opening. Let's say, for example, I click on this link now, clicking on this link now. I click on this link and I'm waiting forever and the thing is not opening. Probably it tells you, yeah, some persons is going to open, and then you can continue with this guy, or some persons is not going to open. So you're going to tell you site cannot be reached. You can always come back to ChatGPT and say, okay, copy this guy, paste it, and say, I tried opening this with your 1, 2, 3, so that um ChatGPT will know that you're actually talking about this thing, but I am but I can't reach the sites. All right, and it's going to, okay, fine, this, download Foundry from GitHub, and then it's going to give you more options on how to do it, and 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 how to do it all together. So this is it. Now, what you have to do is give ChatGPT the prompts, and when it gives you an answer, do it and give him back the error, so that we know that the feedback you're giving him is not just feedback from uh uh Git bash. You can also give him feedback from a website link that it sends to you, that you try to access but it didn't go through. Understand? And it's going to give you another way of doing it. So that's how to use ChatGPT for the installation. All right, so in the next class, I expect everybody to have installed uh, Foundry. Okay, so I think this night or first thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to also I'll send a YouTube link to our class rep to help us, to send it to us on how to install Foundry. All right. So any question? Hmm? Any question? Please answer. All right. So the absence of no question. Um, Tonight, what we've done is we've tested our FundMe contracts. We try to optimize our gas, and then we tested our contracts, we funded our wallet, we withdrew from our wallet, okay, and then we just look into setting up an installation of Foundry, okay. So that is it. Your VS code should be like this. Oh, I've changed the view, but I believe everybody has a VS code, so I don't need to go back to VS Code again. So we should all install our Foundry. In our next class, we'll look into it together and contracts and FundMe contracts. Okay, so we'll use that one to learn. We'll use those two contracts to learn um, go like that and like that and like that till we get to the moon altogether. So in our next class, we'll be starting with testing and start running again our simple storage contracts. Okay, so when we are done with testing our simple storage contracts, we'll go on and test our FundMe contracts. Okay, I believe all of us have our GitHub accounts ready. Okay, so I'll be updating us with GitHub repos so that we some of these things on how to links on how to do things and how to do that and how to get links to aggregators and the rest and all this kind of resources will be added to the a GitHub repo and will be sent to us. I'm working on it right now. And all right, so before we say goodbye, thank God my laptop is strong enough to carry those. So before we say goodbye, any question, any concern, any challenge?
No, sir.
All right, so any challenge, any challenge at all, forward it to me on my DM on Telegram, or yeah, forward it to me on my DM on Telegram. I'll do my best to see to it. Okay. I'll do my best to see to it. Any challenge, just forward it to me on my Telegram. I'll do my best to see to it. All together. All right. Today's class is supposed to be the class that we're to have last Friday, but an unforeseen circumstance happened that we couldn't have the class. Okay. I'll try my best so that it doesn't happen again. I believe some of us were happy that there was no class, but I'm that kind of math teacher.
Everybody will say.
Yes, I want to be the math teacher that doesn't miss class. So I'll try my best for it not to happen again. All right. So now next Wednesday, oh sorry, next class on Wednesday, we'll look into it. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it has been very less stressful. No complaints, no concern. All right, so we are good. So that when we resume hard work, it will not be an issue as well. All right, so do have a good night's rest. Okay, see you on Wednesday as we look into Foundry and start coding and testing codes together. Do have a good night rest.
Good night.